Hello, this is Ben Television News Roundup, a compilation of major stories in the weekend. I am Tunde Alabi. Ahead of the UK general elections in May, political parties in the country have released their manifestos as they try to win voters' support. Both the Conservative, Labour, Liberal Democrats and UK parties have made immigration, taxes, economy, the NHS and security the core areas of their manifesto.
The heart of this manifesto is a simple proposition. We are the party of working people, offering you security at every stage of your life. If you're a young person looking for training, if you're looking for a good job, if you want to buy your own home, if you're raising a family and need help with childcare or a great school place for your child, if you fall ill and need to rely on our National Health Service, if you're reaching retirement and want security, we are there for you, offering security at every stage of life. Yes, the Conservative Party, the real party of working people in our country today. And the truth is this: we are on the brink of something special in our country. These past 5 years have been a critical period. We've drawn on all the resources of our nation to turn a great recession into a great recovery. Together with the hard work of the British people, we've rescued our economy, created record numbers of jobs, put Britain back on her feet. We've put our country on solid ground. We've laid solid foundations. But let me tell you, the next 5 years are much, much more important. The next 5 years are about building on those foundations. The next 5 years are about turning the good news in our economy into a good life for you and your family. They're about realizing the potential of Britain, not as a debt-addicted, welfare-burdened, steadily declining, once great nation, which is what we found, but a country where a good life is there for everyone willing to work for it. A good job, a good home, a good start for your children, a good and secure retirement. Britain, our country, it's lived its long life as an exemplary country. The small island with a massive impact. The bright light in the North Sea that's exceeded expectations decade after decade, century after century. And we are on the brink of being that country once again. We can be the country that not only lives within its means and pays its way, but the country that offers a good life to those who work hard and do the right thing. The country that doesn't just lead in what we invent and create and sell, but how we care for the elderly and look after the sick. In Britain, we've always shown that we have the ingredients, the will, above all the people, to overturn what's inevitable. And with a strengthened economy behind us, this buccaneering, world-beating, can-do country, we can do it all over again.
May I present our plan for the working people of our country, on behalf of all of you in our party who have contributed to it, and on behalf of all of you in our country who have inspired it. And my case is simple. Britain can be better. Britain can be better for you, your family, and our country. And as I propose this change, I'm guided by one simple truth. It's only when working people succeed that Britain succeeds. Because you see, I believe that the wealth, the success, the future of our country does not simply come from a few at the top. It comes from every working person in our country. And I'm not going to pretend to you today that building this country will be instant or easy. It has demanded change from us. It will require change in the way the country is run. And seeing it through demands new and different leadership. The very start of our manifesto is different to those that have gone before. It doesn't do what most manifestos do. It doesn't offer a list of promises, a shopping list of proposals. Instead, it seeks to answer the questions you're asking. I know many people want a fairer Britain, but they ask whether it's possible. You want to see your children have a better tomorrow, but ask how we can pay for it today. You want Labour values and a new start, but you ask whether we can be responsible with our nation's finances. This plan shows there is no trade-off between being disciplined and making a difference. The plan we lay before you is no less ambitious because we live in a time of scarcity. It is more ambitious because it starts from a clear commitment to balance the books and because it does not stop there. This is a plan to change our country. And it is a plan which shows Labour is not only the party of change, but the party of responsibility too. So page 1, line 1 sets out Labour's budget responsibility commitment. A clear vow to protect our nation's finances. A triple lock of responsibility. First, we're the only party at this election which can show how every policy in our manifesto will be paid for. No commitments requiring additional borrowing, not a single one. This is the first lock. Second, our manifesto writes the first line of Labour's first budget. This budget cuts the deficit every year. And that budget will only be presented when that has been verified by the Office of Budget Responsibility. We have to change the way this country is run and who it is run for. Because for too long, the British people have been told something that just isn't true. That what's good for the richest and most powerful is always good for the whole of our country. That as long as a few individuals and companies are okay, we can just wait for the wealth to trickle down to everybody else, with one rule for the few and another rule for the many. And what does it mean under this government? Insecurity for millions as the prescription for economic success. Everyday people having to pay the price of hard times. Young people fated to have a worse life than their parents, and public services cut back to the core. We've had 5 years of these ideas. We've had 5 years of this experiment, and it has failed.
5 years ago, the British people chose to do things differently. You decided that no one party had the right to govern our country on their own. You chose to make politicians work together in the national interest. And you know what? It worked. Your decision turned round an economy in crisis and made it into the fastest growing economy in the Western world. Your decision made sure that the difficult choices needed to get us back on track were taken, but taken with compassion and a sense of fairness. Your decision meant that instead of a Conservative government chasing UKIP off to the extremes, you had the Liberal Democrats to keep the government stable and anchored firmly in the centre ground. But the truth is, I could be stood right here in front of you today in very different circumstances. 5 years ago, when you gave no party the right to govern on their own, when you gave the Liberal Democrats the chance to join the government for the first time in generations, we could have ignored you, taken the easy way out and said, no thanks. We could have left a Conservative Party without a majority in Parliament to deal with an economy on the brink of collapse. We could have watched them fail. We could have stood by as the economy went under and people lost their jobs. And we could have watched the Conservatives make the poorest in society pay the price. And then I could have stood in front of you today on platforms like this and criticised them for it. But the Liberal Democrats, we didn't do that. We did the responsible thing. We did the fair thing. We did the gutsy thing. We stepped up to the plate and put the good of the country first, even though it meant working with people we disagreed with, even though we knew we would have to make some compromises, even though we knew we would take a hit to our popularity. But you know what? Every day has been worth it, because we made Britain better. Today, because of what you chose and what we, the Liberal Democrats, did, we have a stronger economy and a fairer society. We brought stability. We turned round the economy. We stopped the Conservatives from putting people like them above people like you. And we made Britain fairer. We cut taxes for millions of working people and lifted the lowest paid out of tax altogether. We directed more funding to the poorest children in our schools. We created a record 2 million apprenticeships. We undertook a bold, liberal reform of our pension system and have given millions generous rises in the state pension. We oversaw a quiet revolution in renewable technology with twice as many homes powered by renewable electricity. And we legislated so that all love, gay or straight, is valued equally. This time round, it is obvious once again that neither Labour nor the Conservatives will win a majority. The era of single-party government is over. I'm not denying that either David Cameron or Ed Miliband will be Prime Minister. One of them will. But you know, and they know, that neither of them will win outright. Neither of them will have a majority in the next Parliament. So what really matters is who they will have with them to decide what the next government will do. Someone is going to hold the balance of power on the 8th of May, and it won't be David Cameron or Ed Miliband. But it could be Nigel Farage. It could be Alex Salmond. Or it could be me and the Liberal Democrats.
We want a trade deal with Europe. We want to be good neighbours with our European friends, but we desperately seek a referendum so that we can set this country free from political union. And there is no third way. There is no renegotiation of any value that is to be had in Brussels. Now, our position is perfectly clear. We want our country back. We want an Australian-style point system so that we can choose the quantity and type of people who come to live, work and settle in our country. So we simply won't allow foreign criminals to come into this country. And all migrants that come to Britain will have to have their own health insurance. And nobody will be able to access the benefit system until they've been in Britain for 5 years, paid their taxes and obeyed the law. Something, of course, that is, again, only possible outside membership of the European Union. We're still campaigning for no tax on the minimum wage up to earnings of £13,000 a year. We want to raise the threshold at which people start paying 40p tax to £55,000 a year. We want to introduce a new 30p tax band for those earning between £45,000 and £55,000 a year. And, of course, we want to remove inheritance tax, which is now one of the biggest barriers to young people getting on to the housing ladder. We have pragmatic plans to put forward savings which by the end of the next Parliament would amount to £32 billion a year. We do that by radically cutting the foreign aid budget. We do it by ending EU contributions which are wholly unnecessary to us doing trade. We do it by scrapping vanity projects such as HS2. And we do it by revisiting the Barnett formula, despite the fact the other three parties are sworn to maintain it. We do it by revisiting and changing the Barnett formula to give Wales and England a better and fairer deal. UKIP is fully committed to the founding principles of the National Health Service. And we're the one party with a costed plan to increase spending by up to £3 billion a year. We want to train 20,000 extra nurses, 8,000 extra GPs, 3,000 more midwives. And the need to do this is great, as our rapidly increased population has put an intolerable strain on health services in this country. And we also want to end the tax on illness by scrapping hospital parking charges.
Both the Ed Miliband-led Labour Party and the coalition-led Conservative Party are currently running neck and neck in the various polls, suggesting that there may be no clear winner in the next elections for now. At least 5 people have been killed in recent attacks on African immigrants by their host in Durban, a coastal city of South Africa. Some residents of Durban began attacking foreigners, their homes and places of business as they accused foreigners of taking their jobs meant for the residents. Several others also have been injured as the anti-foreigner protest grew in the busy port city. The latest attack is similar to the 2008 anti-immigrants attacks, where more than 60 people were killed and thousands displaced.
Police, instead of supporting us, they are supporting those guys. They are here, there. They are not talking to them. They are coming to us. They are spraying to us. Where must we go? Here you see, this is my door. My children are here. My wife is here. No one is going to support me.
Somalia not safe, but what must I do? No choice now.
Even here, we are not safe.
No, even here not safe. You kill him. You burn him. Even you make fire.
We like these people from outside because we live together with them. They bring a food, we make money. We give our children food, so we don't have a fight. I'm a Zulu also, but I'm not against them. You understand? Because I don't know tomorrow. God is like each other. You don't say this one, separate. Let's be together. No fight.
And
we
this
don't
one,
like fight.
and this.
I'm very hurt by people saying they must be kicked out of the country because I survive thanks to them. I get all my stock to resell from them, so I can put food on the table so that my 5 kids can survive. Now the shops are closed, and look at my bag, it's empty. Somalians, Ghanaians, Ethiopians must be protected.
And this is all we have for you on this program of News Roundup. Thank you for being part of it. This week, I'm Tunde Alabi. I'll see you again next week. Do have a very week ahead of you. Bye.
To economy, business, technology, the totality of what makes man is what we bring to you here on this Sponge. We give you the information that you need, from business to economy to politics to technology, and that's what we do here on this Sponge, from the beginning to the end, and that is why we are here. Keep watching this Sponge from Ben Television.